Today, today, as we start the show, this one mic. We hail Sunday throughout the stadium. There is a pause throughout the stadium as this man sounds like he just coughs up a lung. They're looking around. The Jumbotron shows and pans the cheerleaders, and as it goes down each cheerleader's face, each one breaks up into laughter, which at this particular time destroys half the stadium. The other half is still trying to figure out what the hell just happened. Does this guy need CPR or something? And then at that particular time, I lost it. Devon's brother. Yes. Today,
Blog Talk Radio.
Start the show, this one mic.
Phoenix is another place. They got a great training staff. They were able to breathe life back into Shaq. And you can do that. People talk a lot about their training staff.
Blog.
Yes, today, as we start the show, this one mic.
Yes, today, as we start this show, this one mic. It's good to be in the building. Good to be in here with everybody. Before I get started, let me bring my co-host into the building. Let me start with a man from South Side Chicago. Watching his Bulls teeter and kind of struggle down the stretch. But it's baseball season, so there might be hope on the other side of that. How you doing, Carl Hampton?
I'm doing well. I'm happy with the Bulls. I mean, obviously we were first for a while and surprised the league, and Lonzo's injuries, some injuries. But we weren't in the play-in. I mean, we were teetering so badly, people thought we'd be in the play-in, but no, that wasn't the case. So I mean, we had a nice last game. It was garbage time, but Patrick Williams had a great game, 35 points, showed some dog in him, which he wasn't showing. He was more like a chihuahua, the last 5-10 games. But no, I'm doing well, man. Sox, Cubs, baseball back. This weather would be different, but hey, we're in the Midwest. We ain't in Florida yet. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, there's a lot of reports about global warming and what the temperature might be in like some of these Midwest cities in the next 15 years that we'd be able to see. But I'm not seeing evidence of that based on what I saw these past couple weeks. We got the young man about to head on off to another clinic, about to make his way over there to Columbus from up north. But he's here with us tonight. How you doing, Darnell?
I'm doing all right. I can't complain, like we always say. Today is my grandma's 93rd birthday. Got a chance to spend some time with her. So, yeah.
Amen.
Yep, I got the message. I know I gotta make a call. It might be too late, so I'm about to do that tomorrow, so I don't get hit on my hand before she turned 94. So, Auntie, happy birthday! We might have to put something here on this production to celebrate that. But 93 years young, and I'm glad you are there to be able to spend time with her. And them throw down that food that's usually cooking around the house. I can already taste it in my mouth right now. So it's good that anytime we have somebody celebrate a milestone like that is very important. So it's all good. So, hey, we're in one mic. I want to thank our sponsors, Bowman Medical Group and Mind Match Development. It's been good, having a great time. Now we're going to get into some topics here, in the open mic that we like to explore. So we're going to get into this open mic. Make sure you hit us up at realsportsguys.com. But want to really deal with some topics here before we talk about what's on our back page. Obviously, as a Steeler fan, this is tough, but just, anytime you lose a young life, we haven't had a chance to really talk about it. Dwayne Haskins, most gone too soon. Um, his teammates reflecting on him in terms of just the personality he brought to the table, and just died in Florida. Crossing the street, hit by a truck. It just a lot happened in that situation. You know, just the tragedy and the suddenness of the death. Just wanted to maybe spend a moment here and just, Darnell, I'll hit you because you're gonna be going down to Columbus, man, and here the next couple of days. So I know that's definitely gonna be buzz down there in Columbus, and people are going to be reflecting, like, when you during your time down there. But I know you track Ohio State a lot. You tracked him. We talked a lot about him when he was going to be drafted and in his first couple of leagues. I just want to probably let you provide a little reflection on Dwayne Haskins.
Man, this is not something I really want to talk about because it's a sad moment, man. I actually have a mutual friend with Dwayne Haskins that he's a GA right now at Ohio State, and looking forward to meeting with him, connecting with him when I go down there tomorrow. But yeah, it's just a sad moment, and a guy that he has so much potential, and it's not really about football, really, because it's a young man's life that was lost. 24 years old. He's a year younger than me. You know what I'm saying? It's just a tragic situation. Yeah, that's really all you can really say about it.
Hammer, you and I have been working higher education, and you and I have been working side by side in trenches. And as you know, you and I have been to some funerals of students at this age. It just feels weird when you walk in with the family. It's tragic. Yeah. Knowing that there's so much life ahead. These are some of the most difficult scenarios I've ever been a part of, and I know you and I have been through a couple of those together. When you heard this,
first wave.
When you heard this, what were your reaction? What were your thoughts?
Just tragic, man. I mean, he was trying to come back. I was glad he was able to make Steelers, and Steelers were trying to, again, try to reach the man's potential. And the one thing we'll get into, the dehumanization of him after the news broke from scum like Schefter and Gil Brandt. People showed their true colors, showed how they value black men, that we are good for passing balls and catching balls and tackling people. And, when we're not human, basically. So that's not telling. That they showed their true colors. And screen, thank goodness for whoever created the screenshot, should be a billionaire. So these cats trying to erase their electronic trails by deleting tweets. No, you ain't getting away with that. So, and then doing apologies, 4 or 5 days after. It's just, but yeah, the young man said, wife, I'm glad Brother Tomlin. Brother Tomlin's a great brother. Gave him a chance, but the kid had potential. I mean, he had tremendous year. He beat out Joe Burrow. That's enough said. So, he changed Joe Burrow's life trajectory. So, great talent, but just sad. Makes you just thankful. Not put in perspective that, again, like I said, focuses on me, but just thankful. When you think about some of these problems you got, at least you got air in your lungs and in your right mind. Physically here, and where I live, man. Every day, man, people just, Chirac, baby. So it's wild here, man. Come visit me, man. We staying in the crib, so we ain't going to party.
So I happen to be. This is an interesting story. So I happened to be in Ann Arbor at the Ohio State game. The game he got in late. He got in because of the injury. And I remember thinking, this is not who we want in the game. I had heard his story. I knew what Michigan's weaknesses were, particularly with the defensive coordinator at that time. I remember him coming to the game. And I was over in the Ohio State fan section. And in my mind, I was like, this is not the person. And I hadn't even seen him throwing a pass yet. But I just felt like this was not the kind of person we wanted in the game. And he stepped into that game and had incredible moments down the stretch of that game. And then he obviously went on that run. And just, we always just talk about, how things affect and come on to people's lives and how you navigate it. He had to navigate a lot, and he was trying to turn the corner. And it's just like, it just reminds you of how delicate life is. But to see how fast things happen for him, from that moment I saw him in Michigan Stadium to to what he did, throwing those 50 touchdowns and then ending up where he did in the league. I mean, that was, that was a meteoric rise. And then to kind of it seemed like he was just settling himself here more in recent years and trying to catch his stride. And you just, it's one of the things you try to fight for that second opportunity, and not to be able to do it at a time when, he would have had a chance to really kind of figure out and show what he could do, given that the Steelers are in this transition, kind of seeing what was going on. So, but it's a life, man. It's family, it's brothers, it's sisters, son, who all these folks who are just involved in his life, who he's no longer there. You can listen to those phone calls and those messages. But, hey, we'll thoughts and prayers for the Haskin family and everybody, and from us here at Real Sports Guys. And so, one of those. So sometimes we debate Wolverines and Buckeyes, but when it comes to stuff like this, we all on the same team, and nothing to do.
Yeah, you're talking about his legacy as a football player, especially at Ohio State.
Yeah.
You got to think about Dwayne Haskins is the guy that he really changed philosophically the way that they view offense. If you think about it, it's because before Dwayne Haskins came, the quarterbacks were always the Terrell Pryors, the Braxton Millers, the JT Barretts, those kind of running. They're always a running.
Smiths,
They're a running threat, but not only a running threat, but they're part of the running offense.
Yeah.
But then when Haskins came, they changed. Well, Haskins and Ryan Day, of course, because Ryan Day was the architect of it, but he was the first of that mold where they turned to like this, heavy passing, kind of Oklahoma style offense. And without Dwayne Haskins doing what he did at Ohio State, does Justin Fields transfer there? You never know. Without the success that that he had, and like you said, 50 touchdowns. I remember we were doing a show at the time, and I picked Michigan to beat Ohio State that year.
Yep.
And they proved me wrong. Yeah, Dwayne Haskins.
That was the reason I went to the game. I was like, it's finally gonna happen, and they were on them. And then I don't know who was it Braxton? Who was the quarterback at that time?
JT Barrett here was me.
Barrett got hurt.
Well, JT Barrett was hurt before the game.
Was it hurt? Was he hurt for the game?
He was playing hurt.
He was playing hurt. Oh, he was playing hurt.
Barrett,
went out.
He has been hurt throughout the whole season, on and off.
Yeah.
Wait, we talking about the game that he came in?
Yeah, because he came in at the Michigan game.
Yeah, that was the season. That's the season before I was talking about. The game I'm talking about was when Dwayne Haskins was a starter, and they was playing close games with Maryland and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was saying, man, this is the year Michigan's gonna get him, because if you remember, that's the revenge tour year. That was the Michigan revenge tour year. They had Devin Bush. They had Rashawn Gary, Chase Winovich. Their defense was legit, and I just thought Michigan would come out on top in that game, but then the high flying offense just it showed up on that night.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, rest in peace, Dwayne. And thoughts and prayers to the family. One of the things, this is Hampton raised this next one, which is interesting, because about Major League Baseball is back, and then is it a dying brand or a great comeback? And what's happening with baseball? It's interesting because, I just turned on TV the other day and just started to see a little bit of branding with the the baseball game, and kind of just with the video game, and some of the marketing seems like it's changed a little bit for baseball. But Hampton, since you asked this question, what do you think?
It's a dying brand, man. Why lie? I was talking to some people at work today. Really, my generation is, my age, as far as about 50 and a little older, that's really your core base. It's not sustainable. And let's just be real. Like I talk about the Michigan Avenue test, and Mike Trout walked down Michigan Avenue. He probably robbed like a lot of people down there. Excuse me, but the bottom line is,
you and your old time. That's your
yeah. Well, I mean, the headlines don't lie. I mean, we ain't Brooklyn, thank goodness. We ain't the Brooklyn subway, but
oh man,
let's keep it real, man. These streets ain't no joke. So I mean, I love my city, but hey, we need change. But But no, the bottom line is that you don't have the major branding. The Cubs' best player is a Japanese player. It's going to be Seth Suzuki, but you don't have the top players. You cannot. They don't have the brand that you had. Like I said before, when I was a kid, a young man, a little bit younger than Darnell. I remember walking down Michigan Avenue and saw Ricky Henderson and Dave Stewart. Man, I was just geeked, and then literally, they had to get off the street because cats were chasing them, running after them. They're not gonna see that. They're not gonna do that, brother. They're not gonna do that, brother. I mean, today they're gonna basically. I mean, these cats, Mike Trout, all of them, they're gonna walk. Aaron Judge walked down the street, man. I mean, they're not gonna be. The brand is not there. I mean, locally, it's good. That's the one thing about it, locally, but about nationally, I mean, and also you just don't have, the very few. The fact that we have a dearth of African American players. I mean, you're the most sensational African American player, actually, ironically, is Southside Chicago, Tim Anderson. But it's just not. I mean, you have the gimmicks of the Field of Dreams. I mean, it's getting a tired brand. I mean, I'm gonna watch my games and watch. I'm a Cubs fan. Watch my Cubs, stuff like that. But as far as a national game, I'm not gonna watch it. And I just keep it real. I didn't watch the World Series last year. I was like, why? I mean, when Dave Roberts was out of there, I'm like, I don't care, really. I want the brother to come back and win. So, but yeah, it's a dying brand. They're gonna have to do. I mean, I think that some of the changes they have in the new collective bargaining agreement, as far as the pitch clock and things like that, are going to help. But the bottom line is that they are not. These players are not stars. I mean, they're not branded like the NBA, like the NFL, and they're not. And it's a long season, 162 game season. Yet the NFL, and NBA have more action as far as day to day related to baseball. Baseball has a dead period basically after it's over. World Series. That's one of their serious problems right there. They've not adopted the models of successful things such as what football. I mean, I was watching NFL Live just now. I mean, NFL is cracking 365 24/7 and 366 in the leap years. Baseball is 200 days and then dark. It's not sustainable. And Manfred's a terrible commissioner. They need a new commissioner. They need new leadership. They need to do everything. But, as long as my Cubs win, that's all I care about, man. I saw a World Series, but the rest of the sport is in trouble, man.
Yeah, go ahead. Say what you're going to say, Darnell.
No, you can go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say, did you know that Albert Pujols is still playing?
Yeah. He with the Cardinals? Yeah, he with the Cardinals. He divorced his wife who had brain tumor. You know that, right? He just divorced.
I didn't know nothing about that.
Yeah, no, he was with the Dodgers last year. He got cut by the Angels.
He got cut.
Pujols. Yeah, I mean those are things, but yeah, but that's the thing right now. Someone like Darnell, you don't know if Pujols is still playing. This guy is, I think, gonna be the true home run champion. Not Barry Bonds, others. Well, you can laugh all you want to, but the true home run champion, Albert Pujols. So yeah, Albert Pujols is phenomenal. I mean, but this is what Albert Pujols used to be in. Yeah, it's a perfect example of baseball. He went to LA, ran that money, and then just went oblivion. And like I said, someone like Darnell, who's, I guess, casual fan.
Yeah, Albert Pujols was the man when I was growing up.
Yeah. 10 years he was with, like I said, that's why, baseball's dying breed. When Pujols was rocking, that was what, early 2000?
Yeah.
You're 25. So yeah, so you were what, 6, 7, you knew about Pujols? These kids 6 or 7 don't know about Mike Trout. They're like, Mike who? I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's well. I just wanted to say that to illustrate your point because I was like, because last week there was news about I forgot what happened with Albert Pujols, but I was like, Albert Pujols is still playing. I haven't thought
He
about
was divorced with his wife, and then he signed. He was divorced from his wife because his wife had brain cancer, and so he said the marriage is over anyway. But that was the big. That's the sad thing too. You have to have something tragic like the wife having a divorce, and for people to know that Albert Pujols is back with the Cardinals, and and then he was with the Dodgers last year. Played well last year, but rumors he was going to be with the Sox, but La Russa wasn't having it. So, but this is for example, the casual fan that illustrates totally what's up with baseball. If Darnell's like Albert Pujols is that they're in trouble.
But the one thing I turned on and stopped for the first time on a baseball commercial when they had Shohei doing the for the video game. And if you look at the commercial, it's actually a pretty cool commercial. I was like, okay, baseball's catching something because he does both sides of the plate. And so I don't know if you had a chance to see the commercial, but I thought, okay, this is actually a little bit different kind of marketing they doing with him, and he was talking and I felt like it. But baseball's a regional sport. I think that's the difficulty. In a region, it's hot.
In its region,
it's hot. It's hot in this region. But they haven't figured out a way to capture that in the bottle. And I think you're right. I think, they just, they need to, maybe they go talk to Jay-Z, get Rock Nation and somebody work with them. They need that element that they just haven't captured. But actually,
a basic marketer. They don't even talk to Jay-Z, a basic marketer. They're not, you cannot name the top players. You cannot name. Also, this is the thing that you have a sport where people have helmets on and you can't see their faces, and they're more popular than the sport that, again, has hats, and it's just ridiculous. And then it's just not the majesty. And also, where's the marketing about, you had the marketing with the NBA with the 75th anniversary, right? What about the 75th anniversary of Jackie Robinson? Why aren't they talking about that? Especially considering the fact of the racial injustice in this country, the social justice in this country. I mean, they're just a bunch of buffoons in Major League Baseball, basically. If you can't sell that, I mean, Jackie Robinson, he was a Republican for God. He transcends party lines, and you're not selling that. You're not making that as part of your shtick. I mean, you have a bunch of incompetent people at the top, and it's too much money in the line with the streaming services. I mean, they're getting paid big money because you still have people our age and up, and good health watching it, but they're in trouble as far as especially with these people like Darnell. I know he ain't talking about no cable. Cut the cord with Darnell. He's talking about streaming, and and people like me, we like, man, I don't want to see a smart TV. I want to see a dumb TV with some cable. That's what I want to see. Plain simple. I don't want to see no Amazon Prime. I want to see cable.
Well, you talk about yourself, and I'm all up in that streaming. I'm over there with Darnell.
So speaking of the 75, who was in the MLB? Where's the MLB top 100? Like,
they have a poor, and the thing about they have an MLB channel. It is the worst product you've ever seen. It's the worst. They talk about the esoteric parts of the game. They talk about, whereas you look at the NFL channel, it's stone cold entertainment, man. You got people like MJ Acosta, don't know anything about football. She parading around with Willie McGillis, having a good time, man. Doing mock drafts do a mock draft every week almost. And they got the morning show that has transcendent figures and people, they understand branding. And the MLB just is clueless. Absolutely clueless.
Well, I mean, but like most of these sports, somehow in their leadership, they finally got somebody who came from entertainment. I think baseball hasn't got that run yet in their leadership. If you track a lot of these leagues, they had somebody who had that understanding of entertainment somewhere in that leadership group who figured it out. They had the one guy who was the don't know if he was assistant commissioner or whatever in baseball. In basketball, that worked on and redesigned the whole NBA All-Star Weekend. And so you got to find who that leadership is going to be. You're right. They're going to have to get with it, but they got some players. They got some storylines. They just got to have somebody who can tell the story.
And they got exploding Latinx, which is talent, which is, I don't see a Spanish speaking strategy. I don't see, they have the fastest growing demographic in the United States, and they literally do not know how to market because they're literally marketing to old white men, 55-year-old white men. That's basically what they're doing.
That sounds like an opportunity.
You think because you talked about telling the story of baseball. Yeah. But baseball, their whole thing is the story. Like the biggest attraction of baseball is the historical aspect of
that's right.
The numbers, and this is what Roger Maris did. This is what what I'm saying. All the greats that came of yesteryear. Mm-hmm. So that seemed like that would be a strong suit for them.
That's right.
It was a strong suit, Darnell. It was. They did tell a story. They're not telling the story now. They seem to be. They have a muddled message. They have a very poor marketing strategy. And again, like I said, sadly, they've not tapped their Latinx base and really connected to the growing demographics of this country and made them attractive to mainstream America. And so that's the problem. People don't give a damn the Braves won last year. Let's be real about it. They're the most inconsequential championship we've seen in a generation, them winning. And that's a sad thing to say, but it's just real talk. ATL, anybody they talking about the Falcons.
And the Hawks.
And the Hawks.
In Georgia. Georgia football.
And definitely Georgia. Georgia, bigger brand than bigger brand than so they gotta do something. Rob Manfred gotta go. That's all I gotta say.
So we spent a lot on baseball. We got to do this in the absence of your partner, and we still working on it.
When is he coming back, man?
I don't know the contract. He don't enter the witness protection program. I might have to send Darnell when he's not.
No, he's not going to visit
Columbus. When he's not going to the big house. When he's not going, Darnell's on his tour right now. I might have to send him out to knock on his door, but we'll figure that one out in a minute. I gotta get back to him. Been kind of busy in my life as well. All right, we're gonna just talk briefly before we get into our NBA talk, which is gonna be the heart of this because we in our back page real quick. But we got some, the transfer portal is on fire, and it's just. I'm not saying it's out of control, but it is
out of control. I'll say it.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in that portal. That portal life is that portal life, and it's created a whole bunch of stuff. And now that we're past March Madness, we have another set of madness going on. People are switching up, and it's to be a college coach today. Oh my goodness, there's a lot going on there. While we go, Darnell, what do you see with as we emerge, particularly on this basketball side, in this portal environment? Do you see what the next stage look like? It's hard to tell. I can't track everything.
Well, the next stage, the transfer portal. We know nowadays that it's harder to win with the player. The team full of one and done players. So what the transfer portal is doing for college basketball is it's allowing people to fill out their rosters with veterans that have experience and they can move up in levels. Like we saw with the St. Peter's guy Doug Edert. He was able to leave St. Peter's, and I forgot where he landed at.
He went to Bryant, which
right. Great. I don't know what. I would think he could have did a little better than that, but
he was a bench player. He was a rotation player, but he wasn't no star for him. Well, I wasn't surprised. Well, he was going to Seton Hall.
He could have went to Seton Hall.
Go to Seton Hall and sit. He ain't playing for Seton Hall.
Coach. But you can round out rosters that have whole Michigan. Like Michigan, if they lose Hunter Dickinson, if they lose Musa, they'll be able to go out and grab somebody that's already been playing, already had some experience. And I've talked to college coaches. It might not be basketball coaches, but I've talked to college coaches that flat out said like, we're only taking a certain amount of high school kids because why would I take a whole bunch of high school kids when I can take, if I can get a transfer from somewhere else that's going to contribute right away because they have that experience. And I know we're talking about basketball here, but shoot, Ferris State was saying like they have like 100 and 120 something like kids on their football team. Like I know it's D2, it's not D1, so they don't go. They're not everybody's getting a full scholarship. So some of them are getting partial scholarships. They're putting that package together, but they just goes to show like the room on these teams are just like I don't know. So the transfer portal has like a big effect. Like it's pushing. It's really affecting the recruiting as far as kids going there. And like we had this conversation a few weeks ago about maybe kids going to smaller schools and try to work their way up instead of there's I don't know.
And I think the second layer that you just hit on is there might be coaches pushing people to say, hey, accept that and we're coming back to get you. Right. And that's like that's the
they send you down to the
nobody's talking about. Nobody's talking about. But we know it's happening.
Well, people talking about it. Trust me. Because you're not having it's not osmosis. These people all of a sudden come into big programs. They get the player, they see the raw talent of the player, and they're like, go play at Western Carolina for a couple of years and kill it, and then you'll be ready for it's like almost the minor leagues of college basketball. So no, they understand, and also it's about talent development. I'll quote you. And so bottom line is that if you're at the level you need to be at the time of your development and you excel there, then you'll be able to be the Brady Merrick of the world, Randy Martin, things like that, and be able to go to another level. Because of the fact that you were able to develop the right way because you were in the right situation at the right time.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So as we close this out, we talked about a lot of stuff, but is there anything that you would have on your back page? And so, Hammer, is there anything that's kind of been top of mind that's that you would put on your back page? And I'll go to Darnell.
Oh yeah, the scum of Gil Brandt and Adam Schefter and the dehumanization of Dwayne, the late Dwayne Haskins. This guy, Schefter's a talent. Don't get me wrong, but he showed just inhumane and just a cruel, intentions to a dead man. And, you're very blessed, Adam. You just got a great extension, $10 million a year for, be on your phone all day breaking stories about football and use your contacts and basically leverage MGM Grand against ESPN to get that contract, or excuse me, Caesars. Most people thought he was going to Caesars because they wanted a breaking news person, but he understands what's up, man. He want to be with the mothership. So ESPN's brand's coming back with Troy Aikman, Joe Buck, and goodness, Pete Thamel. So yeah, the bottom line is that it's showing. And then Gil Brandt just showed again, just that he's just a low life human being. That you talk about a dead person like that, you try to. Why was he jogging in the morning? Man, he was jogging in the morning and tried to get back and try to get back to his star potential, Mr. Brandt. That's why he was jogging in the morning. So, I hear this mess. It has been. They fired you. They got rid of you because you weren't picking right. And then you have a nerve, and he's an expert, like Matt talking about these failed white men who are experts. Like Stan Van Gundy saw him last night. What the heck is he doing in a basketball game? He can't coach a lick. He got fired by Wisconsin after 1 year. He's an expert. Give me a break. Only sports. You're a failure and you're an expert. You gotta be kidding. Yeah. The
Here we go.
expert becomes the head coach of University of San Diego. Are you serious? You're an expert. Give me a break. You can only job you can get is University of San Diego. You're a bum. That's what you are. Steve Lavin. Plain and simple.
Here we go. All right, Youngin on your back page.
Man, there's way too much on my back page.
I know.
Yeah.
I already talked to you offline. We only
I've
give you a
been-
couple right now. Save some.
I'm gonna save a little bit, but I'm just saying a little bit. Really, big thing on my back page is what's going on in the sport of boxing. You have 154 division. It's not heating up. It's been on fire. I mean, we got Erickson Lubin versus Sebastian Fundora last week. Fundora put on a show. The Towering Inferno. This dude he's a 6'6" junior middleweight. I mean, it's almost
154, 6'6".
Yeah, 154, 6'6". It's almost like
Does he eat?
it's almost like a video game. I don't
And Hammer,
understand
he wears glasses. He always puts his glasses on after he gets out the ring. Like almost like he beat you like he was Mr. Magoo. He'll put them glasses on right after you get out the ring. That kid is tall.
I mean, one of the great things about the show is I'm glad y'all got me a little bit dabbling back in the boxing game. I used to be like Darnell. I used to be all the weight classes and all that. But you know, after Mike Tyson got knocked out, man, I stopped watching.
Yeah, he's a 6'6", 154 pounder. He absolutely showed up and showed out. We still have
like Chet Holmgren, man.
He is Chet Holmgren. We also have the Charlo and Castano fight coming up in a month or so, and that's going to be another big fight at that 154 division. But this Saturday, Errol Spence Jr. versus Ugas. This is a pay-per-view that's worth paying for. Has a good undercard. Yeah, you're going to see a good night of fights, and that's something I'm looking forward to. And the biggest story in the sport of I shouldn't say the biggest story because we had great fights, but Daniel Kinahan, he manages and represents Tyson Fury, Josh Taylor, and countless fighters in the UK. He's a guy that Bob Arum and Top Rank has been doing business with on ESPN. And he is he's a famous drug guy, you know what I'm saying? And the DEA has they have like a $5 million I shouldn't call it a bounty, but $5 million to for information that leads to them putting him away. And I guess the U.S. has levied economic sanctions on him, and yeah, it's getting real. And it just takes you back to the mind of where boxing was in the 20s and 30s when the game was being ran by the mob, and it just brings you back to that Jack Cotterill versus Josh Taylor fight at 140. Everybody named Mama knew Jack Cotterill beat Josh Taylor. Mm-hmm. But the house fighter, well, they're both from the UK, but the house fighter, the A side, he got the gift decision, and that just makes you think, was this did Kinahan slide an ultimatum to those judges? Was there a call made? It just gives you that suspicion. So that's just something to look out for. And the non-boxing portion of my back page is Bacot is coming back. Armando Bacot is coming back for a senior year.
Dang,
let's see what UNC does next year.
They don't do well. Bacot's smart. Bacot's a second-round pick. He should stay in school. So it's like Kofi Coburn, stay in school. If you ain't going first round, stay in school. Stay in school.
I like to see Bacot on the Timberwolves too, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean he'll get a look. He'll be a high second rounder possibly. Maybe I mean he's got to improve his offensive game. He's got a nice defensive game. He's got nice rebounding. I'm impressed with Bacot. He was smart. He was trying to come out last year, and they're like, nah. So, but he needs to develop some more skills, and he could be a decent player in the right spot. Yeah. So.
All right, so let me make sure I get this correct. So we're going to hit into the cipher here. And spring is here, and NBA is heating up. And it started out with the play-in. We in the play-in mode right now. I think we got the Pelicans and the Spurs going right now. But last night, Kyrie was just saying, "Hey, I'm gonna send a message to y'all, and I'm on to Boston." I mean, Kyrie came out with 9 for 9 in the first half, doing his thing. Brooklyn did what they needed to do. The Cavs still battled. Let's talk about that game a little bit. Hammer, did you have a chance to watch that play-in game?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did. I boycotted the play in the last couple of years. I thought it was a bunch of BS, but actually I want to see it this year because now I'm more intrigued by it. No, it was a really good game, but Brooklyn is suspect, man. I mean, they had trouble with the Jared Allen less Cavs team. I think Evan Mobley, we will have an argument about this tonight. I was looking at these awards. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna battle tonight. This is gonna be entertainment tonight. Evan Mobley, the rookie of the year, show why he's rookie of the year. One of the best defenders in the league and balled out. And Cleveland, Rondo, the elder statesman showing his leadership. But yeah, I think Brooklyn, I think Ime Udoka and Marcus Smart, Tatum, they're gonna rip up Brooklyn. And Ben Simmons might come back. It don't matter. So, but it was an entertaining game. And like I said, I forgot. Yeah, my man Tyree's Muslim. God bless him. And Ramadan, he still brought it. So, mad respect for Kyrie. But they didn't impress me last night. They looked like they took their foot off the gas and they cruised. And you can't do that against Boston the way they're surging right now.
No. All right, Young, and is Brooklyn in the house?
Hey, I thought I was going to be the one surprised y'all and say I was going to pick Boston, but I guess Carl he went to counter bad first. But yeah, just talking about this game, I think really we had a good night of games in both of them. With both of the games, I think it was a great night for the play-in, and Kyrie didn't miss a shot till the fourth quarter. Like Kyrie is one of those guys. He never ceases to amaze me. Like he does one thing every game where you just be like, damn. But like, one thing that nothing really surprised me really about the Nets. They showed me the same thing that they showed me the last couple of weeks. Defensively, they don't have. I don't believe that they have it to put together 4 quarters. And yesterday they had a virtuoso performance. They had a great performance out of both Kyrie and Kevin Durant, and it was they still went down. I wouldn't say down to the wire, but it was a close game with Cleveland, and Cleveland is in Boston. So we got to get that clear because Jason Tatum is over there, and he's out to prove that he's on that level. He's on that level too, and that's going to be a great series to watch. And another thing I want to talk about from that game was Kevin Durant's willingness as a passer. He's, from the last month or so, a month or so ago, they were talking about Kevin Durant was talking about how much he gets double teamed because teams that you don't single cover Kevin Durant. That's disrespect. He's gonna raise up and shoot the mid range over you. But yeah, he's been double teamed religiously. And at first he was just like, oh man, I gotta pass the ball. But now you watch Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is a proactive passer. He's not just a guy that's reluctantly passing the ball. He's passing balls with intent. He's the ball has energy, and you see the way that that he's finding guys like Bruce Brown, finding guys like Kessler Edwards, finding guys like Drummond, and really getting them involved. And that's something that did impress me is to watch Kevin Durant's evolution as a playmaker.
I think that's great analysis, and that's part of what I was saying. That like sometimes series are like fights. Styles make fights, and a 7-game series and your mentality and the way you may pace and get yourself into it allows for people to emerge, especially as Brooklyn's kind of finding itself. And I just got to know whether or not Boston is ready for the moment. I agree with you. I think Boston is probably the favorite, but they're gonna get tested in terms of are they ready for the moment? Because I think Kyrie and KD gonna bring everything in this game. I think it's gonna be a different kind of game. I think their supporting cast is gonna jump in a different way. If they get banned for a little bit, it could be interesting. But I think all of those games are gonna be close. The fourth quarter is gonna be tight. However, if Boston wins this, it's gonna put them two young superstars on another level. I think if they get through this series, they're gonna be tough to beat because like the light is gonna be coming on for them differently than it came on. Like you could say it came on in the regular season, but it's something different when you win a playoff series, particularly against competition like this. And they're gonna have to really bring it. On the surface, on paper, it looks like they should just have it. That great defense, but players like Kyrie and KD break all that up. They just mess it up. They throw it all to the wind, and they know how to win tournament. They know how to win these type of series.
They know I get hurt too.
Yeah,
that's another reason why I picked
but I'm not betting on that. I don't think you betting on that.
I bet on it. It seems to happen every year. They get hurt. It happened this season. You have one of the players say that's the reason why they're playing because he was hurt.
Put your money in your sock. Don't put it in anything else. Keep your money in your sock. Don't bet against them. All right, but I mean, on the surface early on, it looks like Boston. But I got caught up in the other game, the Minnesota in the Clippers game, and everybody been talking about the reaction. But I got caught up because we just coming off of March Madness, and so I'm watching this game, and I'm like, Minnesota got a chance to win it. No, Minnesota taking control. Oh no, they might win this. And to watch Patrick Beverley's reaction, I kind of got caught up in the moment. I was like, oh my goodness, man. I mean, I kind of got caught up in the moment because we all know what it might feel like to be rejected. And, 94 feet, I got like a weird relationship with 94 feet. I like him. There's times he drive me crazy, but he gonna bring it every night. He's that cat from Chicago. He's a Midwest cat.
West side.
He's from the West Side, another South Side.
West side. I said West Side.
Okay, no, I had to say that.
Yeah.
I
and you could tell he's leading them differently than Butler led them. However, we got the same kind of outcome from one of our guys. About a month ago, Towns looked like Karl-Anthony Towns was clowning Westbrook. It was on his chest, was giving people the buckets. The light comes on. Now, he had a terrible night, folded like wet noodles, as my brother would say. But the coaching job, who leaves a player in the first half to get, 4 fouls? Like the whole situation, I felt like somebody was trying to point shade. But then I did, man. And Darnell knows that's something my brother would say. I feel like somebody was trying to point shade. Like I'm sitting here yelling at the screen, like, why is he in the game? Now, after he got the third foul, he looked at the bench and waved him off. Karl-Anthony Towns, you have not earned the right to wave a coach off right now. Like at this point, you got to go to the bench. So that whole night was crazy, but only the end. With D'Angelo Russell getting in his bag, and your boy Ant doing his thing, the Ant-Man doing his thing, who we had a chance to see up there in Maui up close and personal. He's tightening his game up and doing it. But just kind of the overall night, man, when you saw it. I'll go to you, Hammer. What was it like? People are clowning him now, but hell, they ain't been to playoffs, in how many years? I don't blame them. But
only a couple of years. Tibbs took him to the playoffs, so that's why it was Bush League, man. Let's just keep it real. It was Bush League.
That was 5 years ago.
It's Bush League.
No, 2000.
They show that they're run by a clown like Alex Rodriguez, who in the news again, you got another woman, some 25-year-old fitness woman or whatever. But yeah, I mean, again, they're at the game, but no, it's Bush League. Yeah, he is right.
What's wrong with
Beverly is
emotion,
the
Hammer?
West Side because Southside don't act that way. We don't clown like that.
Who?
I mean, I said Beverly is from the West Side. He ain't from the South Side. We don't clown like that.
What? But the thing about it is, he was giving it to him.
We don't
he was telling him to go home
over a playing game.
No, that was personal. That was
on the South Side.
Hammer. That was
1991. We took the Lakeshore Drive on the South Side and celebrate the Bulls. That's when you celebrate.
I said, pay me or trade me.
When the Bulls made the playoffs.
I said, pay me or trade me. All I did for you, and you traded me like I was the problem. That's what that was about.
Yeah, it's business. I mean, someone like Patrick Beverly should know he was kicked out of Arkansas. He was in the G League. He's been with several ball clubs. Man.
But he's earned his stripes by now. Hamp, he's earned his stripes, man. Don't take that joy from him. Now, Karl-Anthony Towns hugging it was as his sister or grand or is like you should be hugging nobody.
Jordan Woods.
Huh? What's that now?
That's his girlfriend, Jordan Woods.
He should have never been hugging anybody.
Oh, yeah, his baby mama.
You should have walked right to the locker room and got an ice bath and got your mind right. I can understand Patrick Beverly. I can understand D'Angelo because they put on a show. Cat, you should have just walked to the locker room, got an ice bath, and shut up the media and take your medicine. All right, Darnell, you watched it last night. We got the Grinch. We got the Grinch. The Grinch over here done told us how he feel. Come on.
So Karl-Anthony, going back to Karl-Anthony Towns, like his game is so soft. But
posting up at the 3-point line at the top of the key. What are we doing, man? Okay, go ahead.
He's being guarded by Batum and standing at the 3-point line. If you don't take your butt to the block and get him in foul trouble, you aren't supposed to be in foul trouble. You're supposed to get him in foul trouble. And going back to what you said about him playing in the first half with 3 fouls, as a coach, at that moment, he was saying, like, you got to play yourself out of this. This is like, he's trusting his player. But Kyrie, going back to the same day, Kyrie Irving played the last 7-8 minutes with 5 fouls. And Steve Nash didn't take him out of the game, and he didn't pick up another foul. So, it's about playing smart, playing the game the right way.
But I bet if you looked at all those fouls, you would have said 2 of those was ticky-tack. All 4 of Cat's fouls were ill-advised. He was literally running over people, then looking at the referee. Like, I would say he was out of control. Like, look at every one of his fouls. You're like, every time he fouled, did you ask yourself, what is he doing? Think about the one where he's at the free throw line. The ball goes up, he's out of position, and he literally chops at the guy and then looks at the referee like he didn't foul. Like, every foul was a poor foul. At that point, I'm a coach. You have lost and we were playing better without you.
I'll say the point is they played better without him. Like,
yes,
on the bench, they were playing better.
Yes, like it was. Look, he's been through a lot, but I understand why Butler wanted to choke and wanted to beat him up. I'm looking at him like, and I don't advocate violence, especially watch Oscars, but I played football, and there's some conversations you got to have in the locker room with some people. There's sometimes you got to have something to practice. This cat right here, this was his time to seal the deal, and his boys said, I hope he bought them something. I hope he came back to the locker room and said, hey, y'all, I owe y'all this. He probably should have came back with watches for everybody. I mean, they saved him so much. But like the way he was playing like he was out of control, Darnell. He was not under control. And this is a smart kid, right? I say he's smart. So he was not even under control the entire night, which was control. It was like he was playing out of control. And if I can see that, I know the coach can see that. I'm like, you got to sit with me and just think, because we're playing better without you. Like, if this is where you want to sit over here with me. But I was so disappointed.
For long stretches of that game.
Yeah. I'm telling you right now, he going in to Memphis with some straight killers. Like he going with some cats who just don't care. Like they said, they going up the chimney, they want all that smoke. I'm gonna see what he come with them, because he got to bring a lot more to the table, and they gonna need him. I was just disappointed. That's the only way I can explain it. I'm like, what
But
is
he
this
got
cat
guys
doing?
with him that want to smoke too. He's playing with Anthony Edwards. He's playing with Patrick Beverly. You know, they're bringing that energy too.
Yeah, but they ain't bringing all the skill set to come with it. I mean, Anthony is.
Yes, they are.
Patrick gang.
Anthony is.
Patrick. I mean, when I look at Memphis roster, there's just more of them. They look how they play without your boy. There's just more of them. There's just more of them, and it's going to be interesting. They're going to need a big series from Cat. He could be the difference, but I just don't know if he got.
Adams gonna shut him down, man. He's gonna shut him down.
His dog
Steve
didn't
Adams
look
gonna
like it was
shut him
on.
down, bro.
Yeah, Jaren Jackson gonna have him in the winners protection.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Jaren Jackson too. They're gonna eat him alive, bro.
That's a defensive.
It'll be like Wisconsin, Kentucky 7 years ago. He's gonna lose.
All right, it's award season. We don't see the Oscars. We don't see everything else. It's award season. And so y'all got me with these awards. And, I haven't been up on all these awards, but we're going to try and do what we need to do. We're going to sit here and look at it. All right, we're going to start with Sixth Man of the Year. Since let's make it hot right out the gate. We're going to start with Sixth Man of the Year. It sounds like Hampton already got his person for Sixth Man of the Year. But we
Tyler Hero all day. Let's go. Next.
Oh, you go with Tyler Hero. Well, he's been balling. Who you got, youngin? Who you got on Sixth Man of the Year?
It's Tyler Hero.
It's Tyler Hero. Yeah, I think
there is another.
Now, Tyler was about to get shipped out of Miami. He got a little too full after his performance in the bubble, and then he kind of regrouped this year because Pat Riley, Mr. Big brought him in the office. It sounded like they had a conversation because he played this year like I don't want to go back to Milwaukee and not be playing for the Bucks. So he showed up because last year there's some questions. He was hanging a little bit he's hanging out there in the club a little bit. He was hanging out with Drake or somebody out there, but he wasn't balling last year, so he tried to redeem himself on that. Most improved. Who you got? Darnell, for most improved?
Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole went from a G League player to a guy that is dropping 30 and 40 points in a game. This guy is been. Oh, Klay Thompson had a really good last game, but Jordan Poole has been out playing him for the last 3-4 weeks. Jordan Poole is my most improved player.
Same, definitely.
You said Jordan Poole. What's interesting when you look at the people that they got on the list, they got Ja Morant and Darius Garland on this list of people.
Ja Morant can't be on this list.
I'm looking at Yahoo's.
He could be on the list, but that's not. I mean, Jordan Poole, as far as
what about Darius Garland?
Game without Klay Thompson and with Klay, he's the most improved player, no question about it. I mean,
well, the thing about Darius Garland to me is I always believed Darius Garland was going to. He was like I've always believed he was that guy. I've always believed that he was.
But he's got Cleveland playing. He's an All-Star this year.
Yeah, but that's just the next step. That's the next step of his development. Like coming out of high school, like he was supposed to be right there with Ja Morant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But this most improved is not about all that. It's about where you were last year and where you put your team.
Yeah, and Jordan Poole
was in the G League last year.
I like that. Yeah, because I talked about what Golden State did for Jordan Poole. He's a Michigan guy. They sent him down, and I love the way they did it. They sent him down to get marinated, and he came back up and did his thing. I love the way they've been developing him. All right, I'll let y'all go. I'm not going to fight it too much. All right, Coach of the Year. We go with Darnell. Who you got, Coach of the Year?
Monty Williams. Monty Williams should have won last year.
Please.
How many wins? How many games they won this year? 65, something like that. 64, 65. Yeah.
Usually, Coach of the Year is like delayed award. You got Monty. Who you got? Hamp.
Me?
Yeah.
The real Coach of the Year. We've been talking about. We haven't said his name. We talking about players and their attitude. Taylor Jenkins all day. Even a question. It should be unanimous.
No love for Spoelstra. Aren't they the number one team in the East?
No, it should be unanimous. With Memphis, the type of culture he's brought this year. With John Morant, you talk about John Morant, what 21-2 without John Morant?
I think it's gonna go to Monty because you talking about
Monty got last year.
CP3 being hurt for a chunk of the year. The way those players have been developed, and out west they've been dominated. I think Monty gonna take it home. Taylor's done a good job.
He's
I wouldn't be surprised. I think Monty's gonna take it home. It's a delayed award. If they're supposed to give it to him last year, you know how it worked. Supposed to give it to him last year, they're gonna give it to him.
They gave it to him last year. He was this consecutive years.
Oh, did he get last year?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
I don't think he got it last year.
I don't think he got it
last year.
No, the Coaches Association gave him voted for him last year, but he didn't.
Who won over him?
Yeah, NBA Coach of the Year.
He didn't get it.
Google it.
Yeah, I don't think he got it.
Because I read
Thibodeau won it last year.
Thibodeau. I thought Thibodeau won last year.
Oh, that's right. Thibodeau won last year. Yeah. That was a joke.
Your former boy. So you know it's delayed. So Monty getting it this year. You know that. You know how it gets down. You know how it goes down. Rookie of the year. Here we go.
We gonna have the biggest argument here. I know he's picking. I know I'm picking. So we gonna battle now.
Who you picking?
I went first last time, so he can go first this time.
Go, Ham. Who you got?
Evan Mobley all day. Evan Mobley, and we'll tell you why. I'm not Cade Cunningham, not Scotty Barnes. Again, Young's going to. I'll be more respectful. Darnell Kirkland Jr. is going to Columbus tomorrow, and I have a safe ride, brother. But this ain't football, bro. You got to play both sides of the ball, and Evan Mobley plays both sides. Cade don't play both sides like it. Scotty Barnes don't play both sides like it. So anybody you throw out there that would be a challenge to Evan Mobley, no. Evan Mobley could be defensive NBA this year. Dude balling. And he was one reason why that Cleveland was up in there and almost won it. He defended well. Good, nice mid-range game. He's rookie of the year all day. He's gonna be a star in this league.
He had a couple plays I saw last night. You could tell he's got star. He's at averaging 15 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, probably about almost close to block and a half, close to 2 blocks a game, baby.
With Jared Allen beside him. Remember that. With Jared Allen beside him.
Yeah,
so he's playing a traditional 4, like big guy. He's not playing the wing type of game that they're doing now with the smaller power forward. He's playing like what I call traditional basketball, bringing it and defending at an elite level, and he showed that last night. And so he's definitely the rookie of the year. It should be unanimous.
But you're looking at Cade. Cade's averaging 17 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 5.
Yeah, he's Matador. He's Olay on the defensive end.
I don't know.
That's not true.
Let me get dry.
I've not seen that. Go ahead, Darnell. Who you got?
I don't know what version of basketball do you watch, because
I watch plenty of basketball. I said, ain't nobody telling me Cade Cunningham Cade Cunningham's a shutdown player.
You said Scotty Barnes doesn't play defense. Scotty Barnes.
No, I said not as elite as Scotty as Mobley. I didn't say he played. Scotty
Barnes could guard 1 through 5.
I know he can, but he's not Evan Mobley. He's not Evan Mobley. He doesn't have that type of.
And Cade Cunningham plays defense as well. Cade Cunningham,
he plays in spurts. I've seen it. He's disappeared with time, and he plays.
He doesn't disappear.
He's not consistent.
He's not an elite athlete, so it doesn't look explosive. But he plays defense. He plays defense at a high level as well.
I got to put you two next to each other. So
now we
clearly see
calculate lack of athleticism it goes into defensive prowess. Come on.
I'm not
You better
saying
than
that.
bro.
I'm saying
I know that's your guy, but you better than that.
You said he takes plays off. I'm saying
again, I know you like Cade,
and
Cade might again.
lack of
Cade
athleticism
Cade
or
has
lack
a
of
chance to be a
it's the
30-point
Tim
scorer,
Duncan versus
25,
Kevin
30,
Garnett.
but he ain't rookie of the
Just
year right now.
Tim Duncan ain't jumping out of the gym yelling at people doesn't mean he's not that's what I'm talking about.
Put
I'm
the
not
same
saying
with
that
Tim Duncan. Okay, well,
no, I'm saying it's the same idea of the argument between Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett when people were saying that, just because he doesn't yell, just because he doesn't, jump on the blah, 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 he's not, he doesn't want it as much as Kevin Garnett. It's not to say, Cade Cunningham
Mobley's a game-changing player on defense. He's a game changer. You're not telling me that Cade Cunningham is a game changer on defense. Now, I know you're not telling me that. I know you're not telling me that.
Well,
I know you're not telling me that.
When you said, you set it up wrong. What you said was it's not football.
I have not seen Cade.
He plays.
I've not seen Cade take over. I've not seen him take over a game defensively like Evan Mobley can. Can he do it? Yes. I've seen him and reskill. I know he can, but he's not done it yet. He didn't do it consistently this year. He needs to do it. And Detroit's gonna make the next level. Detroit's got some nice young players, but like I said before, he's not rookie of the year. He's not consistent on the defensive side of the ball. He's an offensive shooting guard right now. That's what he is.
Now, I'll push back on that.
Plays both sides of the ball.
Cade is, I would say, Cade is a solid defender. Being a great offensive player, so he has more offensive tools. So if you start to bounce, so you're talking about complete. He can control the game. He can do good things on defense, but he also brings great offense on all levels in terms of contribution to the overall scoring.
Well. Very good. Either have a very good offense and elite defense compared to future elite offense in average defense, mediocre defense.
Look at their record against winning teams, and his team has the farthest to come, right? And they have a good record against winning teams, which means his imprint in those games is there. So I'm saying you can't just totally discount. That means you got to be playing some defense to beat those type of teams.
I didn't say totally. I said consistency. Didn't I say that? I said consistency.
Well, he was hurt at the beginning of the season, and they consistently played well.
Consistently watch the Pistons. So how do you know if he consistently?
I've watched some games of the Pistons. Don't go there. I watched. You always gonna bring. I don't watch as much as you do, but I watch some games of Pistons. I watch tape.
Look.
I watch it like you do. Like I said before, I used to be able at your age.
You can build a brother up without tearing another brother down, Hampton.
I'm not tearing
him down. Make a case for your man without don't try and stretch it.
Awards are about comparisons, right? Awards by comparisons, right? Awards are in bubbles. They're comparing one person.
But as much as you said about his defense, he's not even in the defensive player of the year ranking. He's not even in the defensive player of the year conversation.
He should about Cade?
No,
Evan Mobley.
Evan Mobley will be, but no, Evan Mobley will be on the off. He has a chance to be on the off defensive team. Yes, he does. 13.
He got a winning team. He's not a defensive player of the year conversation. Jared Jackson.
Over the last month or so, over the last 2 months, Cade is averaging 21, 7, and 7.
I agree. What about defense?
He's playing
defense.
He doesn't play
defense.
He probably has a defensive rating. You can look at it.
He averaging 21, 7, and 7 because he ain't playing no defense. Shit.
Listen to that. Listen to that. Those numbers. Come on. Come on.
They're wonderful numbers.
MVP. Who you got, Young, in MVP?
MVP. This is an interesting one because, like I said in the group chat, they changed the rules for who they want, and you got to when you talk about the MVP. what's the criteria of an MVP? What is an MVP? Because I remember a couple years ago when Damian Lillard dragged his team into the playoffs with 50 points, with a 50-point game, 60-point games. You know, putting his team on his back when CJ McCollum was injured, and basically he wasn't even considered for MVP. They were saying, you know, they didn't win enough games. You know what I'm saying? You got to be a contending team to win an MVP. And now, you know, we got players that are putting up dominant numbers, playing great without some of the stars. But people were saying, "Oh, this is a landslide. He has to be MVP. Nobody else can be MVP."
I'm not.
So,
but,
no, I'm saying the media. I'm talking about the media.
yeah, I know media.
And I'm not. Yeah. And before I get too far into it, this is not me. This is not a racial thing. I'm just saying.
He's a great white hope. Let's call him.
I'm not saying that.
He's a great white hope. Let's call him. He's a great white. Let's call him.
We're not disrespecting Jokic is a baller.
I'm not saying
Jokic from day one. We don't give him his street credit. He's a baller. He's a baller. Ain't no hope. Ain't nothing there. He giving people the business. We ain't taking that away from Jokic.
Yeah, I'm not. No. I'm definitely not.
We're not doing that here.
I'm definitely not going there. Well,
I wouldn't. There's something I ain't tolerating.
Last year,
I'm not tolerating that blasphemy on Jokic. Jokic is a baller. Anytime you're a point center like him,
MVP this year.
But I'm saying he's a baller and he's in the conversation.
Darnell started this guy. Let Darnell talk.
All right, I'll let you go.
So laying the groundwork for the criteria, because we've been told for the last 10, 15 years, ever since I've been, really following basketball, the MVP is the best player on if not the best team in the league, he has to be on a contending team that is looking like they're going to, really push for a championship this year. And if I'm following that criteria, my MVP is Devin Booker, because they at first it was John Morant, but John Morant missed all those games. They went 20-2. They went like 20-2 without him. So I can't give it to John Morant, but Devin Booker.
No Embiid. I was going to argue with you about Embiid, man.
I was rolling with Embiid. I was rolling with Embiid if they finished 2, because I know it's we're splitting hairs on games here, but they end up finishing 4. If they would have finished 2, if they would have finished in that second seed, I would have gave it to Embiid. But right now, I'm rolling with Devin Booker because this is a team that's won. They won 64 games, 65 games. They're the number 1 overall seed, and he's been their best player this year. And he's absolutely balled out. And I don't think we should discount. I don't think we should discount him just because of the success of the team around him. So I'm going with Devin Booker.
Yeah, he surprised me. I thought we were going to argue about Embiid, man. That's why I wrote the question.
I'm going to say Embiid. I'm going to say Embiid. Anytime you done the first thing since Shaq, and for the most part, his team was in that number 2, number 3 slot, and he had to deal with crazy turmoil the entire time with some craziness, and he kept steady. He kept steady through all that craziness, and he's still putting up them crazy numbers. I'm going with
he's my number 2. He's my number 2. So
who are you going with?
Man, you know who I'm going with. Giannis all day, man. There's no other most valuable player. Giannis transcends the defensive end of loss, the Dallas game, but Giannis, he's added a 3-pointer his game, passing. There's nothing he can't do defensively and offensively in the game. There's no question that I thought we were arguing about Embiid, and you threw me a curveball. I'll probably get Devin 3. I do take away a little bit from the fact that he's more valuable because of the fact that he is on such a great ball club. I don't think if you take him away, I don't think, like I said, they're a crater. So that's what. But if you take away Antetokounmpo from the Bucks, they're gonna crater. They're gonna be raggedy. And so and you can't say that about Philly either, because
Embiid has been flawless.
But this is my point. Though, that has never been the argument. Like that's never been the criteria for MVP.
Yes, it has been an argument because Michael Jordan won 12 MVPs, bro.
I'm going to go back to
it.
Because, I remember 2009 when Dwight Howard was the guy. Like if you took Dwight Howard off the Magic, they were not going to be where they were. You know what I'm saying? Chris Paul, the same thing. 2008. Go back to those T-Mac years in 2002, 2003 when he was dropping 32 a game. You go back to 2005, 2006, Kobe dropping. He averaged 50 for a whole month, but and he dragged that team to the playoffs. But it was always about who was the guy on. If not the best team in the league, they had to be top 2 or 3 seeds in the league, and that's why Steve Nash won those couple MVPs, while guys like Kobe was averaging 30 and 5, dragging the teams across with Parker and Sasha Pavlovich and LeBron James. In the same year, he was taking his team to the playoffs, averaging 37 and 5. You know what I'm saying, with Ira Newble and Danielle Marshall on his team. He was dragging his team to him, right? Because the criteria was the criteria, and now they changed the rules for who they want.
But as I'm looking at this, I've never followed that criteria in my life. In looking at this, while other people looking at it, the reason why I'm looking at Embiid is that until recently they were doing what you exactly were doing, and he did this with a transition in his team. He did this while, and what's great about the reason why I'm pushing for this is the growth, because the way he dealt with the dysfunction was, I'm just going to put up bigger numbers. I mean, literally, they were negotiating a departure of his number 2. He was dealing with turmoil, and all he did was put his head down and put up bigger numbers, and was holding up to it until pretty recently, right? So I would even put him in this category until recently, when he kind of dropped in that 4th spot, right? So I mean, they were there for most of the year, so that's why I give him the argument. I love Devin Booker. There's something about, and maybe it's my hammer argument. I don't, maybe it's the not playing it both ways. It's something about Devin.
He's not playing both ways.
Devin Booker.
Darnell, you might get me through my bias. There might be a bias that I got to check at the window. So I'm gonna go with you. I think you're making a compelling argument.
I like Booker. You know what it is. You know what it is, Devon.
Yeah.
It's the light skin bias. Like
I was about to say
maybe Devin Booker play defense. So does Cade Cunningham.
He plays decent defense. It's not like he can take over. Like I said, Giannis Antetokounmpo can take over a game. If he didn't play defense, he could be a football type basketball player. He can literally play defense only, like Dennis Rodman, and have more impact on a ball game than any of those players we talked about.
So we're having 2 different arguments here. If you asked me who was the best player in basketball today, I would say Giannis Antetokounmpo. But that doesn't mean that I'm voting for him for MVP. But he's the best player in the NBA, if you ask me. But my MVP is Devin Booker, because he's the guy that fits the criteria that they have set up for us. So that's why
saying Jokic is the best player in the NBA because of analytics.
Jokic is not
great passing.
Jokic is not better
rebounding and in the what is it, the adjusted field goal percentage and all that mess. And and when the NBA Finals is gonna be, he's gonna be sitting at home watching the game with us, if he's watching it.
They're going home in the 1st round.
Yeah.
Did we do the defensive player of the year yet?
No, let's do it.
We're about to do defensive player of the year. So Milwaukee is in 3rd, so they're not in the top 2.
No, right?
They're not top. They threw a game. Darnell talked about it. They didn't want to play. They didn't want to play Brooklyn.
They escaped the 2nd seed on purpose. Yeah. They set everybody.
So you take it. So Darnell, you taking points from him for not leaning in.
No, I'm not. I'm not taking points away from Giannis. I'm not taking points away from Giannis.
Okay.
Like I have no problem with. Well, really, I have no problem with any of the top 3 or 4
But
getting
you making a
involved.
compelling argument about the I mean, Book had to lead with Chris Paul got hurt with a chunk of time left, and Book had to hold that operation together with a whole bunch. But I also think Book's got a teammate. He's got a couple of teammates who've been putting some stuff up too that need to get some love. I think he gets a lot more shine than they do. I think Aiden has been a monster in a way that doesn't get credit. And so that's the part maybe about Book, because I love what Book is doing, but I think sometimes
teammates too.
I know, but you talk about
but Brook was out.
Aiden is a leader in that team big time, in the way that Booker is over this stretch. Books puts up some numbers, but you're right. I might be hitting him with the I might be getting him with the what does Steve say? I might be getting him with the DeBar's methods. We and I got to get over that. I got to get over that. Maybe it's that Kardashian thing he got going on that I'm just like decision making. Maybe I'm penalizing him on decision making, given everything he's seen. But maybe that's it. But you are bringing me over to the side, brother. I'm gonna reevaluate. We're gonna end up. I'm after you. You've made a good case, and I'm gonna have to really look at that. We might have to talk about this on the phone. All right, Defensive Player of the Year. This is gonna be an interesting one. All right, Darnell, who you got?
Another tough one, because because if you go by like the metrics and stuff like that, the advanced analytics, really. There's two. To me, there's two. If you ask me who's the best defenders in the game, there's two of them. My number one is Giannis for sure. Giannis is my defensive player of the year. But another guy that surprised me, that's my dark horse, that I know is not going to win the award. He's not even going to be considered. But really, if you ask me who the best on-ball defender I watched this year, was Gary Payton II. I've seen Gary Payton guard.
Yeah, he's top in defensive rating.
It's Gary Payton.
He's going to be on the all-defensive team.
No, but if you look at the ladder for the guys that are
he has the best defensive rating in the NBA, man. He's going to be on the defensive. So that's not
the defensive player.
Win the award.
The defensive player of the year award is not going to Gary Payton II.
I know. I'm just saying he's going to be on a defensive team. It's not a stretch.
Yeah, but he's not on the. I'm not saying I'm saying he's not on anybody's ballot. Everybody's voting for Gobert, Giannis, Jaren Jackson.
Don't be surprised. People with analytics, he's going to get some votes. Don't be surprised. It's not like he can get no votes.
Yeah, but
he gets some votes.
If you ask me, the best defender I've watched this year was Gary Payton II. I've watched him guard. I watched him go from guarding LeBron to Jokic to John Morant. I've seen him guard every type of player in the NBA. And this is a 6'4" guard that's strong, athletic, has great hands, great anticipation. I wanted to show him love with my even though Giannis is probably the right pick for this. But I got to shine light on Gary Payton II.
All right. Who you got, Anthony?
Man, we've been talking about. I'll just give you a hint. We've been talking about a certain team that started off very poorly with a new coach, very poorly defensively, and they've turned around and gone to the second seed. Marcus Smart's defensive player of the year, no question. No question.
That's what I was going to say. The run they went on.
Over, I think Darnell's right though. Gary Payton Jr., the second, is the best defender, but I can't give him the award because one, he doesn't have the volume that he does. But I agree with pure defender. Yeah, Gary Payton, but he doesn't get the award. But Marcus Smart, considering the turnaround of the culture of defense and the way he matched with Ime Udoka and brought that team together as a defensive point guard, he's definitely my defensive player of the year, no question about it. And you really, it's kind of like almost you want to kind of penalize them because they didn't play well in the beginning of the year, but then you saw kind of that he was defensive player of the year because of the fact that they ratcheted up. And so I can't punish him for because it wasn't his fault of the lack of defense, it was the other cats. But as soon as they bought in, he's definitely defensive player of the year. I definitely think so.
And
but like I said,
fun fact here, there has not been a guard to win defensive player of the year since
there's always there wasn't a second round pick that won the MVP. There wasn't a black president. There's always going to be some first. Okay, so I mean, let's not go there. Always going to be some first. So I think Smart. I think that some of the bet market's going to show Smart's getting a lot of love now because people are looking at how they're looking at. There was no drop off of market. They looked at the defensive intensity from the beginning of the year when the Celtics were floundering to how they ascended and exploded as far as their play. And, they're like, this cat is clearly, this cat is balling. And so, yeah, like I said, again, I'm not being happy. There's a difference between defensive player of the year and the best defender. Because, yeah, I would talk about, Giannis, but this year, I think definitely it's Marcus Smart. I mean, there's no question.
Yeah, I was gonna say Marcus Smart. With a close second for me in this is Jaren Jackson Jr. I think a lot of times people just like he anchors that Memphis defense, and he does so much to control. I think people just forget how good he is because Memphis hadn't got a lot of TV time, even though they've been playing well. It feels like they're just not a part of the shine. But I think people are gonna really understand how good he is in the playoffs. And so I would see him being able to get some love as well. But I think the run that Boston went on had a lot to do with their not only some adjustment they made on offense, but their defense ratcheted up. The top defensive team, and he's the anchor, and he is Patrick Beverley with more control. Right, in a sense that he can do in size and do some other things.
Disgrace to my city, man. Up there clowning over a playing game. And you from Chicago? You from the city of champions, and you clowning over a playing game? I was like, mess. You dealing West Side.
That's the clowning.
You dealing West Side. You ain't South Side, bro.
That's the clown.
Southside, we would take the W, gone in the locker room and let's look at that Memphis tape, let's get going. But they're gonna be up there clowning and talking about
that's the clowning you see at the park when there's a lot of money online. People have been talking junk at work all week, and finally we're gonna meet up at the gym and settle this.
That's got lack of emotional
maturity. There is a jubilation. You've been at the park. There's a jubilation when somebody hit game point. They run around like they won the national championship. That's what that was. That was text messages. That was
he's a professional ball player
all year. Bro. That was all the little cuts. Player, that's what that was. And then who did he look at? He looked at your boy Steve Ballmer like, "How you like me now?" Yeah. That's what that was about. Yeah, you didn't want to write a check for me. Now you going back to the crib. Oh, I love that. I ain't got nothing to lose. I'm all for the pettiness.
Yeah. Steve Ballmer going back to the crib and counting his money.
The only person that had a problem with that whole scene was Cat. Because as soon as it hit zero, he should have just walked off the court. Everybody else could run around like they won a Super Bowl. I didn't have a problem with that. I love petty. Sometimes, we should learn from the pandemic. Sometimes you just got to embrace moments in life. And I think we learned a lot from the pandemic. And Patrick Beverley was trying to teach us a lesson. Embrace the moment.
High act a fool? That's the lesson he taught. High act a fool?
Like he told him, he said, what'd you say to him? Take your butt home. That's somebody, that's a park mentality.
Embarrassing.
That's West Side Park. That's West Side Park mentality. That's what
I know. He here for South Side.
You know it, Darnell. All y'all take y'all butts home. You heard somebody say that on Game Point. You know that. They at Game Point, what they say? All y'all take your butts home. Next. That's what that was. If he could have said next, he would have said next. I appreciate that. I'm all for the pettiness. All right, we go. I'm all for it. I ain't even gonna trip on it. I'm all for Patrick Beverly. I'm all for the pettiness. I was all in. Now I ain't gonna cry like Shaq did, but I'm all in. All right, we're gonna drop the mic. You take it on home. Take it south side. I'll hit it, and then we'll let Youngin close us out since he's gonna be on his way to Buckeye Land. We're gonna let him take us home.
Yes, this past Saturday morning, we heard tragic news. A young man, Dwayne Haskins, lost his life too soon. Tremendous talent. A guy beat out the first pick of the draft and Super Bowl runner-up this year, Joe Burrow. Guy who put together one of the best seasons in college football history and was trying to get back on the right track. And all these lowlives like Gil Brandt and Adam Schefter, someone like Gil Brandt, especially a failure, someone who got fired and dismissed for not even picking right, as a so-called expert, is going to have the nerve to denigrate a dead man and denigrate somebody in 160 characters like Adam Schefter. Adam Schefter, Gil Brandt, you are the scum of the barrel, the bottom of the barrel that you scrape and you scrape out. And the nerve to not, first of all, Gil Brandt has apologized. It took Adam Schefter 3-4 years to apologize. And then also the fact that you aren't even grateful to be alive. This man's dead. You're not grateful. You've been blessed. Gil Brandt, you were a raggedy player personnel guy who lucked out and was able to basically pick on a brand. And now you're the resident so-called personnel guy who had been in personnel for many years. Adam Schefter, you make your money off living off your iPhone and your contacts from Denver, and just got a nice contract. Hey, you deserve it. But again, be a human being. Be a good citizen. And some of this is racial. Let's be real about it. If this is a white guy, would this been the same thing? Where were y'all when Ryan Leaf messed up? That drug addict. Okay. And these other mess ups, the guy, I forgot his name, the guy beat up the sister, the lineman from the Seahawks. Where were y'all on that? They're not dead, but they messed up. And yet, when the guy is dead and got killed by a dump truck, the first thing you're going to talk about, it had failures and failed stops. Again, I saw Schefter on TV the other day. I had to almost turn it off, but I knew he was going to say something good, so I didn't. But again, I have lost respect for both of them forever. Drop the mic.
All right. Yeah, I was going to talk about Dwayne, but I'm going to leave. I think we've been on that enough. One of the things that I have just come to appreciate is this time of year. Spring is coming, especially coming off a pandemic, and just beginning to see people in space and having joy and having fun and enjoying events. Even though we still have to be careful, but being in space and seeing people having fun. And as I watched the end of the Minnesota game, there's a lot of jokes we could have about that space. But one of the things that just came to me is that people are just yearning for these moments. Like, folks were watching empty stadiums, cheering in their rooms, plugging in the best way they could plug in. Watched the Masters and saw a young, 25-year-old who's won 4 tournaments in a month. The crowds that were around for the final round, the the waking up of sports, and along with spring, is something that just is I'm finally coming around to. You know, I've been one of those folks that's kind of been late to the party and kind of nervous. You know me, I'm like constantly text messaging the group about distancing and everything else. They know that. They're probably gonna react to it. I'm the one that's always talking about who's there, even when Hampton was jumping around in some of those stadiums, you know, and then getting in our spaces. But to feel that energy that we saw in Minnesota, and to see the crowds that were coming together, you know, on Sunday at the Masters, just for me as someone who loves sports, warms my heart. So enjoy these moments when you have an opportunity, and cherish them, because you never know when they're going to be gone. Dropping the mic and passing it on.
All right, so my drop the mic is about the play-in tournament. I think the play-in tournament was great. Yesterday was a great showing for the play-in tournament, and the extent of the play-in tournament just doesn't go towards the games that happened yesterday and today. But you got to think of something. When was the last time you heard the word or the term load management? I don't think I've heard load management in a whole calendar year, maybe 2 or 3 years. And this is all due to the play-in tournament, because if you are a team that that is in the playoffs, and you can't afford to lose games, because you might be in danger of falling into the play-in tournament, and you're only a game or two away from missing the playoffs completely. So you have to um, put up a certain front to be at a certain level. And also, if you're a team like the Lakers, this past year, you missing the play-in tournament entirely is just makes the look that much worse. Like, you guys were not able to make the play-in tournament. Like, what kind of reputation does that hold? So you're getting it on both fronts. You're getting the teams that are in the playoffs. They have something to play for if they want to stay out of that play-in tournament. You have teams that have dignity, that they're playing so they to make the play-in tournament. And then you have the young teams that maybe they're not good enough maybe they're not at that level, but they have something to push for, to where now I know we can make that we can make that ninth seed, we can make that 10th seed, so we can possibly 2 games we might be in the playoffs. We saw that with the Memphis Grizzlies last year, and we've also seen that with the Pelicans this year. If the Pelicans can string 2 games together, they went from a team with that where Zion Williamson hasn't played a single game. We've seen him in warm-ups do 360 windmills, and I've seen him do 2 360s today, and there's still no timetable for him to return. So you have a team like that without Zion, that still has a possibility of making the playoffs. LeBron and them may at home, but they can. You know what I'm saying? It just gives you that much more to play for, and it's pretty much keeping almost every team alive to a point where you're not resting players. So we're seeing the players play. Well, I know there are guys that have been injured, but if you're not injured, for the most part, you're playing. And I think that's a great thing. I think the play-in tournament was a great idea, and you got to tip your hat to Adam Silver. Drop the mic.